So Andy, if we can briefly look back at the Richmond match last weekend, was there anything about how they played which made it particularly hard for our guys to cope with?
I think the bottom line was they were the best side we've played this season, without question. The fact that they'd lost their first three games must be a source of irritation to Steve Hill, who I know really well, because they came here and they were very physical in all aspects of the game, set piece, in open play. They had some real pace out wide, not just the wingers, but the 13 was quite quick as well, and 15 came into the line. So right across the park, they were very, very well organised, well drilled, tied, knew where they were going to go and how they were going to get there. And we just really couldn't live with that, but particularly the physicality at set piece and breakdown, and we were really struggling to cope with that.
So it looked like we had some injuries, both players not starting the match and some walking wounded afterwards.
Yeah, we had a couple of those sort of bizarre things that happen from time to time. Tom Fiddler obviously didn't come through fitness test on the Thursday, so we knew Tom wasn't available, which meant that young Nathan came in for his first start and did really well, and actually did a lot better when we moved him across to Loosehead. So that was something for us to think about for this week. Andy Cannock arrived and was fine in the team meeting, and then didn't pick it up then, obviously, started sort of being severely ill. So we then hoped that he might sort of calm down by half time, and so just quickly swapped him around with Claude. So Claude came in to start, and Andy was on the bench, but actually he really didn't get any better, and so we effectively had a four-man bench because Andy was never going to come on in the month of Sundays. So one of those bizarre things that happens from time to time, and you just sort of hope that it doesn't happen every week. Then during the game, Claude got a bit of a bang on the head, but sort of soldiered on. So did Laurent, and his hand was an issue again. He obviously didn't help matters by upsetting their hooker, who then took the opportunity to stand on his hand at the next ruck, which happens in a game of rugby. And then Lloyd again had a bizarre injury. I've looked at it on the footage, and nobody tackles him. It's just he just turns to get back into the defensive line, and obviously pulls something, and it was unable to continue. So Will Clark came on a little bit earlier than we wanted him to do so. So yeah, some bizarre sort of injuries which sort of didn't help the day either.
Okay, so we've got Ealing on Saturday, who I think are fourth in the table. Are you viewing that match with trepidation, or is every match now an opportunity to show some improvement regardless of the result?
Well, we do need to show improvement in some aspects of play every week. There's no point in just sort of, there's a lot of point to soldiering on, but there's no point in soldiering on and not actually making improvements. Not trepidation. Yes, they are fourth in the league. Yes, they did come third in the league last year, and perhaps were unlucky not to finish in that playoff spot. And the year before that were unlucky, not to win it either. So they certainly have intentions to get out of this division. So they're going to be one of the stronger sides we play. But we can't go into games worrying about what might happen, what the opposition might do. We need to start thinking about what we're capable of doing, go about doing it. And even if it's just a little various things in the game that we want to make happen, then make sure they happen, and then the next time we can make sure something else happens. So we've just got to accept that it will be a tough game. We keep harping on about the age, and I don't want to use it as an excuse, but what comes with increasing age is bigger bulk, and in some respects that's where we're lacking. We're not lacking in ability, we're not lacking in desire or commitment, we're just lacking in muscle and bulk to help all those things come together, really.
So do you know who's in the team?
Yeah, pretty much so. The squad is not being decimated, but I think we're sort of quite comfortable with what we've got. We've still got one or two question marks, and I'm going to speak to Rob Green when he gets in shortly about who we start at Loosehead, whether we start with Robbie or Nathan. They're both playing well in that position, and as I say, Nathan did play quite well when he moved across to Loosehead on the weekend, and he's really worked hard on his game in the last few weeks because he was a bit disappointed he wasn't involved in the very first game of the season. We told him why, and he's gone away and he's worked really hard at it. He's still got a long way to go, but he certainly has taken advice on board. Andy Widdop at hooker. Hopefully Tom Fidge is okay. He trained on Tuesday, so Tom will move back into the tight head spot. Jack Taggart will come in to the second row for Andy Cannock, who isn't available this weekend, with Ben West, who's playing really, really well. And he's one of the guys that is standing out week in, week out. But we do need to be very careful that we don't, push Ben too much. He's still only 18, and we need to make sure that Ben's still playing rugby at the end of this season and in future seasons. So we need to handle and manage his game time as well as we can. And we've spoken to him at length about it on Tuesday. Greg Price at blindside, and then Ollie Spanswick is coming in at open side. Ollie is the same age as Ben. It will be a big step up for him. But Dave Wells, Chris Thompson is injured at the moment. Dave Wells is injured, so Ollie comes in, and he's our next out-and-out 7. Jack Sawbridge played there last week, and Jack's quite good. He's tall and he helps in the lineup, but he's not a natural 7, whereas Ollie is. Liam at 8, who's playing really well. Jack at 9. We're going to start with Will Clark at 10. Just to give him that opportunity, because he came on and did really well. And obviously Lloyd, who will train tonight, we just need to be careful of his back as well. Andy Gale will play on one wing, who's been on the bench in previous weeks. And this is one of these situations that Andy's coming all the way down from Birmingham to be with us in this game, where he's at university. Carl Buttle on the other wing, and then Ian Herriott and Steve Datcher is in the centre, with Martin Freeman at full back. And then the bench will be, obviously, the one that doesn't make it between Robbie and Nathan. Tom Bax, who will come down from Cardiff yet again. Matt Gibson, who many won't know, who played in the game against Bath University, will be covering the rest of the forwards. Lloyd, obviously, as we've mentioned. Then Charlie Edwards, who's up at Oxford Brooks, will be the other back on the bench. So that will be the 20 that takes the field.
What can supporters do to help you in the team?
I suppose, yes, clearly shout, get behind the boys. Don't get too sort of disheartened. Try to see the positives. I know on occasions they may be difficult to see. I think, as you often do with any young player, be that a 7-year-old or a 21-year-old, is try and see beyond today and look and see what might be there for tomorrow. And by that, obviously, we mean the end of this season and the beginning of next season.